Hello everybody, welcome back to Learning Biology 13.2. Okay, so in this section, it is relatively a little bit easier because we have talked a bit about this in chapter 12, alright? But we're going down into what exactly is the human gamete. Alright, so we're going to talk about sperm and ovum in a detailed way. Okay, so let's get ready. Okay, so first of all, again, so what are the gametes? Gametes are two things. One of them is the sperm and the other one is the ovum. So remember, when we talk about chapter 12, 當我哋講12課嗰陣時啦, we do not use sperm and ovum of the plant. We say male gamete and female gametes, and then they will fuse together to form a zygote. Alright? So be careful with this word. Okay? 好啦，然後就話啦喎。So in the following, we're going to learn how are they formed, okay, and what exactly are the gametes? 佢哋嘅 structure 係點樣啦? Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we're going to talk about the sperm. It looks like a tadpole. Tadpole 就係乜嘢咧？蝌蚪啦. Alright, so it's very small in size. So remember one thing. One often asked question is to compare the sperm and the ovum. 係去比較兩者之間嘅. Okay, so when we say comparison, we need to say the sperm is smaller and the ovum is larger. Okay, so we'll do this practice in class. 等喺上堂嗰陣時就會做㗎啦. Okay, so let's continue. It's very small and there are three parts. 有三個部分嘅. So first one is the head, and then there is the mid-piece. So in your junior science, you do not learn about this part. 你冇學到一個部分嘅，得唔得? We only learn about the head and tail. So there is actually this mid-piece. Mid 即係代表好似 middle 咁樣啦，就係中間啦。Alright? Okay, so when we talk about the head, so there is a cap. 有一個位置啦，最頂呢度。So this thing is called the acrosome. 自己多次啦 acrosome. And another thing is the nucleus. Okay? So what is acrosome? Acrosome 呢度就會 contain the enzyme 啦 for penetration into the ovum. 咁究竟 what is it going to penetrate? Okay, penetrate 自己多次先 penetrate 即係代表穿過 OK 穿過去啦 So this penetration it penetrates the jelly coat. Okay, so we'll learn about this very soon of the ovum. Okay, so it will secrete the enzyme to digest the jelly coat. Okay, and another thing is the nucleus. 喺個 head 嗰度啦 another thing you'll see is the nucleus. First of all, 一定係 haploid 㗎啦 It contains 咩為之 haploid 啊 Do you still remember what is haploid? So a little revision. Let's see if you remember. Haploid means there is only one set of chromosome. And in this case, it will be coming from the mother or father. It will be coming from the father. 咁我哋就會講啦，佢 containing the paternal sets of chromosome 啦。Alright, 咁當然啦 how many chromosomes are inside? Of course, only half number 啦，就 23 啦。Okay, and then when we talk about the mid-piece, this is also very important. 因為佢有啲乜嘢啊 There are many mitochondria. Mitochondria, what is it? 又再溫書咯喎。So mitochondria is the site of respiration. So what is respiration? It produces energy. Okay, so if there are many mitochondria, what is it used for? 有啲咩作用嘅咧 It will release energy for the sperm to swim to the oviduct from 呢個 vagina 啦，或者係 from 呢一個 uterus 啦，去到呢一個嘅 oviduct 啦。Okay, and the last part will be the tail. It will keep on beating, okay, to push the sperm forward 啦。Okay, 好啦，咁然後咯喎 Another thing, we move on to talk about the ovum. Ovum. 咁再提多一次啦 Ovum is singular, ova is plural. 得唔得 So first one, 我哋就會知道啦，原來佢哋嘅 shape 係 different 嘅喎，一個係 tadpole shape， 另外一個係 spherical。自己多一次啦，呢個係好似 spear 咁樣嘅。Okay, spear 咩嚟㗎 Spear is a ball shape. Okay, 一個球體啦。Okay, and then so this is called spherical. 自己多一次啦 spherical. And then the diameter, as you can see, the size is a little bit larger 啦。然後啦，同一時間咯 So why is it larger? Because it contains a lot of food reserve. 佢會有好多嘅食物儲存喺入邊啦。So where are the food reserve? So nucleus, cytoplasm, or cell membrane, or jelly coat. Of course, the answer 就會係呢個 cytoplasm 啦。cytoplasm 就會係 contain 嘅 food reserve 啦，係作為一個嘅 embryo 嘅 early development. Okay, so what does it mean? So right after 自己諗一諗咯。Okay, so right after fertilization, therefore it forms 咩啊 ？forms 咗一個嘅 zygote ，and then it will carry out 又再記唔記得邊一種嘅 cell division? Which type of cell division? The zygote will carry out 一個嘅 mitosis 啦，或者 mitotic cell division 啦。And actually cell division requires energy, right? Requires energy. 咁 but not 但係啦，我哋知道嘅就係 at this moment the placenta 嗱，you learn this structure later, alright? Placenta 中文即係胎盤啦。The placenta is not yet formed. Right? So where does the energy come from? For the zygote to carry out mitosis, the energy will come from the cytoplasm. That's why 佢就需要有啲嘅 food reserve 啦。Alright? Okay, so if there is no question, let's move on. 一樣啦 ，nucleus 都係一個 haploid 啦，但係今次呢個 haploid 就會 not from paternal 而係 from maternal 啦，得唔得？同一時間咧係 one set 而係都係 23 chromosome 啦。There is also a cell membrane, just like any animal cell. 任何嘅 animal cell 都會有個 cell membrane 啦。And one special thing is that there is a jelly coat. 得唔得 ？Jelly coat 係純粹保護嘅啫 ，it's only for protection. Alright? And this one, as I said, the sperm will secrete enzyme from the acrosome to digest the jelly coating. Okay? 好啦 as you can see here, so really 好少啦。I will talk about this that yellow area 得唔得？通常係一個 summary 嚟㗎啦。But remember, this one is for you to compare. Okay? 係去比較嘅。Okay? So there is a size difference. One of them is smaller and the other one, the ovum is larger. 佢哋 shape 會 different 啦 ，tadpole spherical 啦。佢哋嘅 movement，例如我哋會知道 sperm can move，OK，但 ovum can it move？Cannot move by itself 啦。溫一溫書咯 ，try to revise. So how is it moved? The first one would be by beating of cilia, alright? And then the second one is by contraction of 邊度啊 ？of 呢個 muscle 啦，係of 呢個 oviduct 嘅 ，alright？ 好啦 ，another thing we talk about is the food reserve. So is there any food reserve from the sperm? The answer is very little 啦，甚至可以not much 噶啦。而 most of them 其實係 coming from where 㗎？佢同你講喎 ，most of them coming from the seminal fluid. 記唔記得 earlier in 12.1 we said that the seminal fluid provides sugar for the sperm as 一個 energy reserve 啊嘛，係咪啊？但 ovum 嘅話 ，it contains 一個 food reserve 嘅。Where is it？ 就會喺呢個 cytoplasm 嗰度啦。And then the number of chromosomes, of course, they are totally the same. Okay, both of them are haploid, and then they have 23 chromosomes. Okay. Well, there are actually other one more 呢個嘅 comparison, and it is here. 嗱 ，be careful of this one， 因為呢個咧係 often asked 嘅，等得小心啊。OK， so sperm 就 contain mitochondria，of course 你會知道啦，好清楚啦。It is in the mid piece， 但 ovum you can see that it is not mentioned, right？ 但係代唔代表 does it mean that the ovum does not have mitochondria？ 因為佢唔能夠 move 啊嘛 ，it cannot move, so there should not be any mitochondria, right? But the answer is no. Both of them contain mitochondria 嘅，但係 sperm has a very much 係 higher 嘅 mitochondria 啦 ，higher density 高啲嘅密度啦 ，OK 即係 more 嘅一個 mitochondria 啦，than 呢個 ovum 嘅。Alright, so that is to say, ovum also has mitochondria, but the amount is very little. Okay? Therefore, more IE 啦 thus it cannot move by itself. Okay? One more word I wish you to know, 我想你去學嘅咧就係一個叫做 mobility 嘅字。Mobility means the ability to move. 得唔得？ So sometimes we will say that there is okay, for example, we will say that ovum has no mobility. You may also see this word. OK， 好啦，咁然後咯 ，let's continue。然後啦，去到下邊嗰個位啦，this is just a history, not very important. OK，just as if you're hearing a story. 好啦，講緊乜嘢咧 ？So previously there is this Antony person，咁佢就會用咗個 microscope 去睇啲乜嘢啊 ？What is he seeing？就睇呢個 semen 啦。And then he saw 就會有一啲嘅 very small animals with tails。然後啦，其實當然啦 ，we know that they are the sperms. Alright? So he drew this diagram after he observed through the microscope. And what did he see? 佢睇到啲乜嘢咧？佢就望到啦。Each sperm contains a tiny person inside. 其實你會望到 okay, so this is the head, and then arm, and then leg. But in fact, this is not very correct. Okay? 咁呢一個啦 this is now disproved. 指到讀呢個字啦 disproved. OK? 咁就即係唔被證實啊，或者被反對咗啦。OK? So it's like objected. OK? 推翻咗啦。This disproved idea was actually accepted by many people at that time. 喺以前嗰陣時 ，around 16th century 啦，16世紀嗰陣時咧，其實係 widely accepted 嘅，得唔得 ？OK? So just for fun. If there is no question, we will move on and we talk about the production of gametes. 佢點樣製造出嚟嘅咧 ？Alright, so this is also related to junior science. 係 Form 1嘅 ，OK， so I assure that you may have forgotten，OK， 唔緊要啊，唔記得咗 ，but we're going to learn it again now。咁其實呢個 production of sperm 啦，其實 begin in puberty 嘅 ，puberty 係啲咩嚟咧？就係青春期啦，指到度啦 ，puberty。So it begins in puberty. So what will happen？ 發生啲咩事咧？其實我哋就會知道就係we'll learn that in chapter 12.3。OK， 咁我哋會學到一啲嘅第二性徵啦，就係呢個 secondary sexual characteristics 啦。Alright， 好啦，然後咯 ，so the first part we're going to talk about the sperm, and this starts at puberty 啦，佢 begin at puberty 即係開始咗啦 ，and then throughout the life. That means 直到 until the man dies, he can still produce sperm. OK， 咁既然咁強調呢樣嘢 ，if I'm so emphasizing this, you can imagine that female, this does not happen. OK， female will stop the production of ovum when there is menopause. Menopause 有啲似 menstruation 啦 ，menopause 係咩啊？你應該估到個咩期啦？就係更年期啦。OK， so around 55 to 60, there is this menopause that the female will no longer produce ovum. 得唔得 ？OK， but then for sperm is different. It's throughout the whole life. 咁啦，之前亦都講過啦。Why are they coil tubes? So there are two types of coil tubes， 有兩種嘅。The first one you can see is this epididymis， 指多一次啦。Epididymis 呢度會有一啲嘅 coil tube 啦。And then earlier I asked you this question: Why are they so coiled？ 點解係 so coiled 嘅咧？咁另外啦 ，this production of sperm is also happening， 亦都係發生緊啦，係點啊 ？In the coil tubes 就係呢一堆嘅 coil tubes 啊。And these coil tubes are called the seminiferous tubules。點樣讀啊 ？Seminiferous。Alright， so seminiferous tubules 應該係精小管啊嘛。係啦 ，OK，but don't remember the Chinese，OK？Seminiferous， 咁 seminiferous 呢一隻字點樣去記咧 ？How do you remember it？ Quite difficult, but you can see that it's related to semen. 記唔記得之前 earlier we just learned about seminal fluid, right? Seminal fluid. We also learn about the what is that? Is there any? Yeah, we also learn another structure 啦，另外一個 structure 我哋就會叫做 seminal vesicle 嘛。Okay, so seminal vesicle. So as you can see now, 我哋會知道哦 semen 如果係驢嘅話就係一個形容詞啦。Alright, so seminal fluid, seminal vesicle. And then now we are learning this seminiferous 嘅一個 tubules 啊，都係一個形容詞嚟嘅，一個 ris 啦，一個 no 啦，都會形容詞啦。Tubules is just like tubes, okay, but even smaller than tubes. Okay, 比一啲 tubes 再細啲嘅，我哋就叫 tubules. Okay. 好啦 ，so at puberty，what happened at puberty 喺青春期發生嘅咩事咧 ？So the cell between 一個 seminiferous tubules 啊，佢哋啲 cell 啊 ，OK，so we'll talk about this paragraph first, and then we'll look at diagram and describe it again， 得唔得？好啦，其實佢哋啲 cell 咧就會係 begin to produce 一個 sex hormone， 就開始 produce more male sex hormone 啦。然後啦，一個嘅 male sex hormone 就會 stimulate，so we learn this word， 呢隻字喺邊見過？就呢個 sugary solution 會 stimulate 呢個 pollen grain 啦，去 develop 呢個 pollen tube 啦 ，alright， 咁佢會 stimulate 就刺激咗啦。So male sex hormone 就會 stimulate 一個嘅 cells 呢個 walls 啦，去 divide mitotically。嗱，記住啊 ，even though it is producing gametes。First of all， 佢一定 carry out 咗 mitosis 先，陣間解釋俾你聽。Later I'll explain this to you. Okay? So after it produce 一個嘅 mitotically 啦，然後啦 it produce more new cells, right? 首先 first of all here I want to ask you. So after mitosis, the new cells will they be the same or different than 呢個 parent cells? The answer is the same. Okay， 所以咁樣諗啦 ，that is 好簡單。First of all， 佢 produce 咗 more sex hormone 啦，呢啲嘅 sex hormone 就會令到佢 divide mitotically 啦。So there are more cells. The new cells will then 新嗰啲 cells 先至會啦，點樣啊？會 undergo 一個嘅 meiosis. The new cells will undergo meiosis 先至會 become sperm.Otherwise 會發生咩事啊 ？Otherwise, if the parent cell carry out meiosis immediately, what will happen? Eventually, all the parent cells will be used up, right? So therefore， 一定要記住啦，首先會有 mitosis 咗，之後先至 after that there will be meiosis，alright？ 嗱，呢個位要慢慢you need to understand it gradually，alright？ So and then the sperm will then get into the epididymis。記住啦 ，once it get into the epididymis, it is temporarily stored。佢暫時 store temporarily 啦。Besides, they are not mature yet。OK， 自己可以寫寫啊。The sperm stored in epididymis sperms are not mature yet. How do I know? 因為 because they need to develop their mobility 啦，佢哋要去慢慢 gradually mature and so that they can start moving. Alright, they need to develop mobility. So they will get mature and then they will leave the epididymis. 得唔得 Okay, so each day a male can produce millions of sperms. So when we go back to classroom face to face, I will try to tell you how the details about the mitosis and meiosis. Alright, so just extra knowledge. Okay, so don't worry. Make sure you understand the process first. Okay, so the next part we're going to talk about is the hormones. Okay, this is related to your future chapters. 係同你未來相關嘅啦 Chapter 18. But we've learned that in Chapter 6 as well. 得唔得？咁 remember that hormone 係 transported by blood, 唔係 by ducts 嘅。咩叫 ducts 啊 ？ducts 係管道。Alright, so it's not transported by ducts. So what will be transported by ducts? 我哋要記一記啦。So for example, when we talk about the digestive system.Okay, so when we talk about the digestive system, we know that some of the juices will be passed out through 呢個 ducts 啦。You know, we call those things 係啲咩啊？會係一啲嘅 glands 啊。Okay, so for example, 自己記一記返啦 ，try to remember it. How do we distinguish the alimentary canal and how do we distinguish the glands? 點樣去分開佢哋嘅咧 ？It's by whether the food has passed through that organ. Okay? 記翻喎。 So if the food has passed through the organ, like for example 你嘅 esophagus 啦，你嘅ileum 啦、小腸啊、duodenum 啊、十二指腸啊 ，alright, so those things belong to the alimentary canal. But then, what are the glands? Glands 係你冇 pass through 嘅 the food has not passed through. For example, like liver or like the spleen, alright? So the food does not pass through there, but they will release some liquid 或者一啲嘅 fluid 啦，或者我哋講再清楚啲 even more clearly 就係一啲嘅 digestive juices 啦。For example 有啲乜嘢啊？例如有一個嘅intestinal juice 啦，intestinal juice 啊，有一個嘅maybe even bile 呢一啲啦。Okay, so these will pass out, will go to the body 就係 through guts 嘅。Okay, they will not enter your blood. Okay, but when we talk about hormones, okay, 當我哋講 hormone 嗰陣時，佢哋係會 enter our blood 嘅。Okay, just to make sure your concept is doing fine. 好，冇問題嘅話咧 we'll look at this diagram. So as I said, in biology, it's very important to understand what is happening from the diagram. 得唔得？ So let's look at the easier diagram first. 一個我哋叫做 testis 啦 ，testis 後邊外邊一個位啦。So you will see there is these areas are the production of sperm. 呢度係會製造 sperm 嘅。呢啲嘅 coil tubules 啦，黐一嚿嚿嘅，一條條翹埋一齊嗰啲啦 ，we call them the seminiferous tubule. And then after they carry out mitosis and then meiosis, the sperm is temporarily stored in the epididymis. 佢會暫時儲存喺度啦 ，and they will develop mobility. They will get mature and then be sent out to 呢個 urethra 即係你嘅尿道啦 ，sent out to urethra through the vas deferens 呢個輸精管啦。OK， 好啦，然後咯try to look at this a little bit more difficult diagram。咁講緊啲乜嘢咧？呢一個其實係一個 tubules 嚟嘅，即係呢個 seminiferous tubules 啦。Inside each seminiferous tubules， 其實 you can see that 佢係會Okay, first one， 佢要同你講啲咩咧 ？So this is a tubule. Okay， 呢一個 this circle thing is a tubule. This is another circle thing, another circle, another circle, another circle. 呢啲全部都係唔同嘅 tubule 嚟嘅。但係啦 ，between these tubules， 其實 there are cells inside， 其實中間係會有好多嘅 cell 啦。These cells will produce the male sex hormone. Okay, when you get into puberty， 當你去到青春期嗰陣時 ，these will produce the sex hormones. And then the sex hormone 會點啊？佢會叫醒佢，佢會 stimulate， 佢會 stimulate what？ 係 stimulate cells near the walls of tubules， 即係代表咩啊 ？They will stimulate these cells， 係 near the wall 嗰堆，係外圍嘅 the outer layer。Okay， so these outer layer 嘅 cells 就會 carry out mitosis 定 meiosis， 就係 carry out mitosis 去 produce 一啲 same 嘅 daughter cell 啦。形成咗一個 internal layer 啦。So after you produce this internal layer, the internal layer 嘅 cell 就會 carry out meiosis 去 produce 呢個 male gametes， 亦都即係呢個 sperm 啦。Alright， 好啦，所以睇一睇咯 ，look at this diagram here， 我哋就會知道啦 ，cell at wall 就會係 multiply 啦，或者佢會係 duplicate 啊，佢會係 carry out cell division 啦，係呢個 mitosis 啦。然之後啦 ，when the cell get inside， 佢呢啲嘅 cell 就會 carry out meiosis 啦。去到最尾啦 ，eventually you will see that okay, so some sperms are formed, and then they will be stored in the epididymis. That's all for the production of sperm. And then the last thing, the next thing we're going to talk about the production of ovum. 點樣製造出嚟嘅咧 ？So this one, I'm not very sure if I have told you guys this in class. Okay, not very sure, but please mark it down. I said that the production of ovum, 即係你會製造 ovum 啦，其實 are actually inside your body before birth. Okay， 即係代表啦係 already inside your ovary, even though you are like 1 year old or 5 years old. Before a female gets into 呢個 puberty 啦，其實 that female already has had all her ova， 佢已經有晒佢呢一世人有嘅 ova 啦 ，before birth。Okay， so at birth, that means before your puberty 啦，其實佢係有 tens and thousands of 呢個 immature 嘅 ovum 嘅 ，immature 嘅 ova 嘅。Okay, so and then 依家開始學一學啲 ，we're going to learn some new things. Okay, so each ovum 就會 surrounded by 一個 layer， 呢個 layer 唔係 jelly coat 喎，呢個 layer 係 an outside 嘅 jelly coat， 喺個 jelly coat 外邊仲有一陣嘢嘅。咁呢一陣係啲咩嚟嘅咧 ？So this will be since it is immature， 其實你未望到任何 jelly coating 嘅 ，you cannot see the jelly coating yet. Alright, so what you can see 就係 seems like there is another jelly coating, and this one we called it the follicle cells。指到度啦 ，follicle cells， 中文係卵泡，得唔得 ？So around every immature ovum， 每一粒嘅外邊啦，其實要 see the follicle cells。OK， 而係形成一層嘢，呢一層我哋就叫做 follicle 啦。OK， so they will stop developing。OK， 佢哋會 they will stay at this stage， 佢會停留喺呢個位呢個階段啦 ，until they reach puberty， 直到佢到 puberty 啦。好啦，咁然後咯 ，and then at puberty， 當佢去到 puberty 嗰陣時 ，what will happen？ Again， 佢 produce more female sex hormone 啦，然後啦 ，there is a cycle， 呢一個 cycle 緊要啦 ，for the ovary to occur。OK， 有一個 regular 嘅 cycle， 固定嘅一個 cycle 啦。咁發生緊咩事啊？就係 they will stimulate several follicles in the ovaries to develop further。呢個 male sex hormone 永遠記住，佢係一個 hormone， 佢只會係 stimulate 嘅啫。OK， 佢係會刺激佢咯 ，stimulate the follicles to develop。然後會發生咩事啊？ The follicle will grow in size， 然後啦 move towards the surface of the ovaries。嗱，呢一啲位置你唔需要背嘅 ，you do not need to recite all of these。OK，just understand。So 再嚟多次咯 ，when it reaches puberty， 佢開始 produce 咗 female 一個嘅 sex hormone 啦，然之後啦，呢啲嘅 sex hormone 就會 stimulate 咗呢啲嘅 follicle， 而就繼續去 develop 咯，得唔得？好啦 ，and then eventually 去最尾啦，通常啦 ，usually 係點啊？佢 stimulate 係會 multiple 嘅，佢會 stimulate several 嘅 follicles 啦。但係啦 ，usually 就係 only one follicle will become fully mature 嘅啫。通常只會得一粒係會 become mature，alright at a time 一次嗰陣時 ，alright。好啦，咁然後咯，you can underline this first， 但係我哋會講到啦，呢一個嘅 ovary 啦，同埋呢個 pituitary glands， 即係呢個嘅垂體啊 ，pituitary gland。We will learn this in chapter 16， 等得垂體嗰度啦。Oh no， maybe very something。I'm sorry， I forgot。OK，ovary 啦，同埋呢個 pituitary gland 咧，就會係係關啲咩事㗎 ？They are involved in 呢個嘅 production of 呢個 female sex hormone 嘅，得唔得？ So later you learn that most sex hormones are related to this pituitary gland。OK， 而除此之外啦 ，ovary 當然都會關事嘅。OK， 好啦 ，last part 咯，就開始繼續講啦。呢個 mature follicle 啦就會 burst， 當佢爆開咗啦，就會 release 咗 ovum 啦。呢一刻嘅 ovum，this ovum 先至會，你會見到係有個 jelly coating 嘅，得唔得 ？OK， 你先至會見到有 jelly coating 嘅。好啦 ，so they release the ovum into the funnel opening 啦，即係 into the oviduct 啦。成個過程啦 ，mature follicle burst open 啦，或者再簡單啲，佢會 release 咗 ovum into your oviduct。呢一個我哋叫做 this process，we call it the ovulation。呢度啦 ovulation。好啦，然後 after ovulation 即係 after it passes out，after it release 呢一個嘅 ovum into oviduct 嗰陣時咧。呢個 ruptured follicle，rupture 即係就會變咗巢皮啦。Alright， so you can look at this diagram. So it will become ruptured， 就慢慢去崩潰，慢慢去瓦解佢啦。OK，so this ruptured follicle will become the yellow body。OK，another name， 有另外一個名啦。Alright，so it will become yellow body. You do not really need to remember this name, but it's called the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. Anyways。好啦，然之後啦，去最尾啦，佢真係去瓦解咯 ，so it will degenerate。When 就係當 if fertilization does not occur， then it will degenerate， 即係佢會分解咗啦 ，it will break down。嗱，呢個位咧 ，you need some time to digest，alright？ So that's basically what happens to the formation of ovum。 好緊要嘅就係 female sex hormone 會 stimulate several 啦，而 usually 淨係得 one follicle 會 become mature 啦。When it becomes mature 就會 burst open 就 release your ovum。release 完 ovum 之後 ，it's not the end of the follicle，follicle 會慢慢變咗做 yellow body，OK？They will rupture and become yellow body 啦。然之後啦，最尾 if fertilization does not take place 唔發生嘅話，佢就會 degenerate 啦。Okay，so and then ovulation occurs like each month about 28 days。OK，咁然後啦，呢一個 until the age of year 50啦，或者通常係 55 60都有可能嘅。OK，so this one around the age of 50 around 啦，咁我哋呢個就會叫做 menopause 啦。OK，就係更年期啦。So you will see that 400 to 500 ova are released over 30 to 40 years of a woman's reproductive life 嘅，即係佢成世人其實 before she is given birth，OK，she has a lot more 呢一個嘅 immature ova than she needs。咁咧佢有好多一啲 immature 嘅 ova 嘅，但係啦 ，in her whole life， 其實佢成世人咧大概 only using about 400 to 500嘅呢啲嘅 ova 嘅啫。Okay, so this is the last page, and this part I'm going to just go through this very quickly. 第一樣嘢啦 ，OK, so this is about the production of ovum, right? 第一樣嘢啦，我哋會知道 ，OK 有一個 more 嘅 female sex hormone 啦，就 stimulate 咗 follicle 去 develop 啦 ，several follicles 啦。然後啦，佢會慢慢 when it develops so grow in size 啊，而 move towards the surface 啦，就行去側邊少少啦。然後 when it become fully mature， 當佢 mature 咗嗰陣時 ，it will burst， 然後就 release your ovum 啦。呢一個過程 ，this process we call it the ovulation。好啦，當 ovulation 出現咗之後咯 ，ovum 就會 transported along your oviduct 啦。OK， 咁有兩樣嘢嘅 ，this two 就係我一直 I'm keep on talking about this two，so please put a star here， 自己加粒星啦，就係依兩句啦，就係 by the beating action of 呢一個嘅 cilia 啦。然後啦，同埋呢個 peristaltic 即係好似 periodic 咁樣。OK，peristaltic 即係代表係一個周期性啦。自己讀一次啦 ，peristaltic 嘅 contraction of 一個嘅 inner wall。OK 啊，或者 muscular wall 啦。OK，so remember these two often asked。好啦，就 by 呢個 beating action of 呢個 cilia 啦，然後就係呢一個嘅 inner peristaltic 嘅一個 contraction 啦 of your muscular wall。OK， 然後啦 after that it will become ruptured and become yellow body， 變咗 yellow body 啦。最尾啦就會 degenerate 嘅 if fertilization does not take place。望一望真嘅圖啦 ，look at the real diagram。OK，so you can see that these are all immature ova。OK，so they will gradually become mature。當佢 when it receive 一個嘅female sex hormone 嗰陣時啦，你會見到 OK，so this is comparatively larger in size， 佢 develop 緊嘅。OK，and then when it gets to fully mature 就會 become like this very big size up。So can you tell me from this diagram where is the ovum？ 其實只係得 the ovum is here。OK，the ovum is here。So that's all for this chapter 12.2. In the next section, it's a very short one, so I'll combine it with 13.3 and 13.4. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. That's all, and bye bye.